So I am ready.
A very good morning and warm welcome to our distinguished guest, Principal, Vice Principal, faculty members, and all the participants to Quiz Issue 21-22, the National Conference and Paper Presentation Competition. As part of this conference, Department of Commerce, in association with Research Cell and IQAC of St. Stephen's College, Uzhavoor, is organizing a national conference on the topic Academic Writing in Social Science Research. Today, we are honored to have an eminent person who is very familiar to us, Dr. S. Kevin, former Pro-Vice Chancellor and Professor at University of Kerala. With the blessings of the Almighty, let us begin this program. I call upon Ms. Abarna Ramachandran, third year BCom, for the prayer song.
ജഗന്നാഥ ജഗന്നാഥ ജയിപ്പൂ നിന്നാമ സിന്ധു ജനകോടിക്കകതാരിൽ മധുര ബിന്ദു പ്രഭാതം നിൻ മന്ദഹാസം പ്രദോഷം നിൻ ശോകഭാവം പ്രകൃതിയിലിവരണ്ടുമിനിക്കു വേണം കരയാനും ചിരിക്കാനും നിന്നിൽ പകർത്തൂരി കമനീയ സ്വവർണ്ണ എനിക്കു ജഗന്നാഥ ജയിപ്പൂ നിന്നാമസിന്ധു ജനകോടിക്കകതാരിൽ മധുര ബിന്ദു.
I now request Dr. Stephen Matthew, Vice Principal and Head of the Department of Commerce, without whom we can't expect a program like this, for the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Uzhavoor St. Stephen's കോളേജിലെ റിസർച്ച് സെല്ലും IQACയുടെയും ആഭിമുഖ്യത്തിൽ എല്ലാ ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റുകളെയും ഒരുമിച്ച് ചേർത്തുകൊണ്ട് നടത്തപ്പെടുന്ന നാഷണൽ ലെവൽ പേപ്പർ പ്രസന്റേഷൻ കോമ്പറ്റീഷൻ ആൻഡ് നാഷണൽ കോൺഫറൻസ് ഹ്യൂസിഷ്യൂ ഇതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായി PG ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് ഓഫ് കോമേഴ്സ് ഓർഗനൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന നാഷണൽ സെമിനാറാണ് നാം ഇവിടെ ആരംഭിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. നാം നടത്തുന്ന ഈ സെമിനാറിൽ ടെക്നിക്കൽ സെഷൻ ഹാൻഡിൽ ചെയ്യുന്നത് കേരളത്തിലെ പ്രശസ്തനായിട്ടുള്ള വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ വിചക്ഷണൻ ഡോക്ടർ എസ് കെവിൻ സാറാണ്. ഏറ്റവും പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട കെവിൻ സാർ, കോളേജിന്റെ പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ ലലിത് ടീച്ചർ, ഏറ്റവും പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട സഹപ്രവർത്തകരെ, ഈ സെമിനാറിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന അധ്യാപകരായ വിവിധ കോളേജുകളിൽ നിന്ന് എത്തിയിട്ടുള്ള അധ്യാപകരെ, ഏറ്റവും പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട വിദ്യാർത്ഥിനികളെ, ആമുഖമായി ഞാൻ സൂചിപ്പിച്ചുവല്ലോ, ഹ്യൂസിഷ്യൂ ഈ കോളേജിന്റെ ഒരാഴ്ച നീണ്ടു നിൽക്കുന്ന ഒരു ഇവന്റാണ്. കോളേജ് തന്റെ മൂന്നാമത്തെ നാക് അക്രഡിറ്റേഷനുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് ദ്രുതഗതിയിൽ അതിന്റെ അവസാനവട്ട പണികൾ പുരോഗമിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കെ ഇത്തരത്തിലുള്ള സെമിനാറിലൂടെ കോളേജ് മുന്നോട്ട് കടന്നു പോകുമ്പോൾ നാക്കും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നാം എടുത്തിരിക്കുന്ന വിഷയമായിട്ടുള്ള അക്കാഡമിക് റൈറ്റിംഗ്സ് ഇൻ സോഷ്യൽ സയൻസ് റിസർച്ച് ഈ നാക്കുമായി വളരെ പ്രാധാന്യം അർഹിക്കുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് ഇതിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന അധ്യാപക സമൂഹത്തിൽപ്പെട്ട ഏവർക്കും അറിയാവുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്. ഇതിൽ പങ്കുചേർന്ന ഏവരെയും, ഇതോടൊപ്പം സഹകരിക്കുന്ന ഏവരെയും ഏറ്റവും സ്നേഹത്തോടുകൂടി ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് ഓഫ് കോമേഴ്സിന്റെ പേരിൽ സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ ഔദ്യോഗികമായ കർത്തവ്യത്തിലേക്ക് കടക്കുകയാണ്. നമ്മുടെ ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട വിശിഷ്ട വ്യക്തിത്വം എസ് കെവിൻ സാറാണ്. ഉഴവൂർ കോളേജിനെ സംബന്ധിച്ച് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഇതിനു മുമ്പ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് ഓഫ് കോമേഴ്സ് നടത്തിയിട്ടുള്ള 3-4 സെമിനാറുകളിൽ നമ്മുടെ വിശിഷ്ട വ്യക്തിയായിരുന്നു, നമ്മുടെ അതിഥിയായിരുന്നു എസ് കെവിൻ സാർ. എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ കെവിൻ സാറിന് ഉഴവൂർ കോളേജിനോട് സാറ് കാണിക്കുന്ന സ്നേഹവും താല്പര്യവും ഞങ്ങൾ എന്നും ഓർമ്മിക്കും. നമുക്കറിയാം, സാറിനെ സംബന്ധിച്ച് പറയുമ്പോൾ വളരെയേറെ തിരക്കുള്ള ഒരു വ്യക്തിയാണ്. കേരള യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ മുൻ പ്രോ വൈസ് ചാൻസലർ ആയിരുന്ന അദ്ദേഹം ജെറോം ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ടിന്റെ മുൻ ഡയറക്ടറായിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പോൾ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി ഓഫ് കേരളയിലെ വിസിറ്റിംഗ് പ്രൊഫസറാണ്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളും അധ്യാപകരുമൊക്കെ റെഫർ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒത്തിരിയേറെ പുസ്തകങ്ങളുടെ രചയിതാവ് കൂടിയാണ്. എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഇക്കാലങ്ങളിൽ ഇറങ്ങുന്ന എഞ്ചുപിടി പോലുള്ള പുസ്തകങ്ങളല്ല, കൊമേഴ്സ് റിലേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആധികാരികതയുടെ പേരിൽ ലഭ്യമാക്കപ്പെടുന്ന പുസ്തകങ്ങളെ എടുത്ത് പരിശോധിക്കുമ്പോൾ കെവിൻ സാറിന്റെ പുസ്തകങ്ങൾ അധ്യാപകർക്കും വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾക്കും എന്നും പ്രചോദനമായിട്ടുള്ളതും വളരെ ഉപകാരപ്രദമായിട്ടുള്ളതും പരീക്ഷാ പോയിന്റ് ഓഫ് വ്യൂ എന്ന് എടുത്ത് പരിശോധിച്ചാൽ പോലും അത് കൂടുതൽ ഗുണകരമാവുന്ന തരത്തിലുള്ള പുസ്തകങ്ങളാണ് അദ്ദേഹം രചിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ പുസ്തകത്തിലൂടെ കടന്നു പോകുമ്പോൾ അറിയാം കോമേഴ്സുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ അതിനിപുണത എത്ര കണ്ടാണ് ഉള്ളത് എന്നുള്ളത്. അഗാധമായ പാണ്ഡിത്യത്തിന് ഉടമയായിട്ടുള്ള കെവിൻ സാർ തന്റെ ആ പാണ്ഡിത്യത്തിന്റെ അറിവിന്റെ കൂടുതൽ കൊണ്ടാവാം കുട്ടികളിലേക്ക് അല്ലെ അധ്യാപകരിലേക്ക് തന്റെ ഡിസ്കഷനിലൂടെ കടന്നു വരുമ്പോൾ ഒരു വിദ്യാർത്ഥിയിലേക്ക് ഇറങ്ങി വന്ന് അധ്യാപകരിലേക്ക് ഇറങ്ങി വന്ന് താൻ എന്ത് കാര്യങ്ങളാണോ അവർക്ക് മുന്നിൽ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് അവരുടെ ഉള്ളുകളിലേക്ക് മനസ്സിന്റെ ഉള്ളറകളിലേക്ക് കാര്യങ്ങളെ എത്തിച്ചേർക്കാൻ പ്രാപ്തനായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു വ്യക്തിയാണ് കെവിൻ സാർ. അദ്ദേഹത്തെ നമ്മുടെ ഈ നാഷണൽ കോൺഫറൻസിൽ ടെക്നിക്കൽ സെക്ഷനിലേക്ക് നമുക്ക് ലഭിച്ചത് ഉഴവൂർ കോളേജിന്റെ PG ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് ഓഫ് കോമേഴ്സിന്റെ ഒരു ഭാഗ്യമായിട്ട് ഞങ്ങൾ കരുതുകയാണ്. എത്ര തിരക്കുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ പോലും എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു ഇതിനു മുമ്പ് നടന്ന വിവിധ സെമിനാറുകളിലും ഞാൻ തന്നെയാണ് സാറിനെ വിളിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. വിളിക്കുമ്പോഴൊക്കെ യാതൊരു തരത്തിലുള്ള വൈമനസ്യവും കൂടാതെ സാറ് പലപ്പോഴും എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു ഒരു സെമിനാറിന് മാത്രം പങ്കെടുക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞില്ല. വെള്ളപ്പൊക്കം, അതായത് ഫ്ലഡ് കാരണം തിരുവനന്തപുരത്ത് നിന്നും നമ്മുടെ ഉഴവൂർക്ക് എത്തിച്ചേരാൻ ഒരു സെമിനാറിൽ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് പറ്റിയില്ല. അതൊഴിച്ചാൽ ബാക്കി എല്ലാ സെമിനാറുകളിലും അദ്ദേഹം വന്ന് പങ്കെടുത്തിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെ നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം ആയിരിക്കുന്ന, നമ്മളിൽ ഒരുവനെ പോലെ നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം ചേർന്ന് നിൽക്കുന്ന വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ വിചക്ഷണനായ ഏറ്റവും പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട ഉഴവൂർ കോളേജിന്റെ പ്രിയ സുഹൃത്ത് എസ് കെവിൻ സാറിനെ ഏറ്റവും ആദരവോടെ ഉഴവൂർ കോളേജിന്റെ പേരിൽ, കൊമേഴ്സ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റിന്റെ പേരിൽ സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ ലല്ലി ടീച്ചർ, കോളേജിന്റെ കോവിഡാനന്തരം എന്ന് പറയാവുന്ന ഈ കാലഘട്ടത്തിലും കോളേജിനെ വളരെ പ്രഗത്ഭമതിയായി നയിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന, കോളേജിന്റെ വിവിധ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളെ ഏകോപിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് മുന്നോട്ട് കടന്നു പോകുന്ന ഏറ്റവും പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട കോളേജ് പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ, ആമുഖ പ്രഭാഷണം നടത്തുന്ന നമ്മുടെ ലല്ലി ടീച്ചറിനെ ഇതിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന ഓരോരുത്തരുടെയും പേരിൽ, ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് ഓഫ് കോമേഴ്സിന്റെ പേരിൽ ഏറ്റവും സ്നേഹത്തോടു കൂടി സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. ഇനി ഇതിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന വിവിധ കോളേജുകളിൽ നിന്നുള്ള പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട അധ്യാപകർ, എൻ്റെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട വിദ്യാർത്ഥിനികൾ, ഇതിനു വേണ്ടി ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റിനോടൊപ്പം ചേർന്ന് നിന്നുകൊണ്ട് എല്ലാ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളിലും മുന്നിട്ടിറങ്ങി പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്ന എൻ്റെ സഹപ്രവർത്തകർ, ഏവർക്കും എല്ലാവിധ നന്മകളും നേരുന്നതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ അവരുടെ പ്രവർത്തനത്തെ ഏറ്റവും നന്ദിയോടെ സ്മരിക്കുകയും ഈ പരിപാടിയിലേക്ക് അവരെ ഏറ്റവും സ്നേഹത്തോടുകൂടി ആത്മാർത്ഥതയോടുകൂടി ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് ഓഫ് കോമേഴ്സിന്റെ പേരിൽ സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുകയും ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ നിർത്തുന്നു. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം.
Thank you, sir, for the welcome address. I now invite our principal, Srimati Lalli Kesariyak, who always give her support and guidance for all the activities in the department for the introductory speech. Over to you, ma'am.
Honorable Chief Guest of the event, Dr. S. Kevin, former Vice Chancellor Pro Vice Chancellor of Kerala University, respected Vice Principal and HOD of Department of Commerce, Dr. Stephen Matthew, delegates, research scholars, my dear colleagues, students. Department of Commerce is conducting a on academic writing in social science research as part of COSISIO 21-22, organized by PTA, IQS. As you all know, is one of the main objectives of this type of academic conferences. COSISIO 21-22, organized by our college. Teachers, research scholars, and students will get a chance to present their work in front of colleagues of the same or similar fields of study, and will be able to receive positive feedback and constructive criticism. The exchange of ideas on fields of interest seeds the link of future collaborations also. I wish this conference will be able to build networks with other academics and experts, share thoughts in social research, social science research, in real science research and other technical breakthroughs. Students will also get an opportunity to expand their knowledge, upgrade their performance, increase their confidence level by accomplishing our institutional objectives. Academic conferences will keep you updated on new findings that have taken place. This is in fact one of the major reasons why research cell and IQAC of our college came forward to organize COSISIO. And I congratulate Department of Commerce and our Vice Principal, Dr. Stephen Matthew, for organizing this national conference on academic writing in social science research. I wish this national conference every success and let it be beneficial to all the express the gratitude of our call, the Honorable Resource Person, Dr. S. K. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words. We are fortunate to have with us Dr. S. Kevin, former Pro Vice Chancellor and Professor at University of Kerala, an idol of knowledge and experience and inspiration to all of us. May I invite our distinguished guest, Dr. S. Kevin, for the technical session on the topic Academic Writing in Social Science Research. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So, very good morning to all of you. Respected Principal, Dr. Stephen Matthew, Vice Principal. I didn't know that you are the Vice Principal. I was thinking that you are the HOD. Anyway, now I came to know that you are the Vice Principal, also a very responsible position, helping the Principal. Thank you, Dr. Stephen, for the very, very kind words about me and the good work that you are doing there in the department. I know because I have come there. As you said, I have come to your college many times, and I really love the place, love the college, and love the people there. I have a very good memory of all my visits there, you know. So this time we couldn't make it offline. It is online, doesn't matter. Next time we will make it a direct visit. Okay. So, and it is good that you are organizing so many programs, and especially for your NAC accreditation. Great work. And all the teachers of the college who are cooperating in this effort of accreditation, and the participants, dear participants, I guess there may be teachers, research scholars, students, maybe a mixed group. I see around 90 participants are there. Big crowd. I hope and pray that all of you have the connectivity throughout the session so that you can enjoy the session. And now I will go to my technical area. As you said, this is about academic writing and publishing. Okay, fine. Now, before I start the session, let me tell you, we in the academic field, this publishing should be our goal, our aim, our dream, There are many people who are published, there are many people who have not published any papers, but you see, in the academic field, now, especially now, in the academic field, that publishing papers is a must. So, if you want to achieve that, we should take it as a dream, which we want to fulfill. The first paper may be difficult. To publish the first paper, you may have to put in a lot of effort. The second paper will become easier, the third paper will become easier. And I know many teachers and students who are regularly publishing. So once you overcome the initial difficulties, then this becomes a normal thing for you. So, but for that, we should take it as a goal, a dream, a desire, which we want to achieve. And you can definitely achieve that. There are so many opportunities, unlike in our days. When I started my career as a teacher, publishing was very difficult because we did not have this online business. We did not have computers in those days. We only had the typewriters, nothing more than that. So there are only few research papers and journals were available. So publishing was very difficult in those days, but now it is comparatively easier. So this session is aimed at that. It's not just a session which we listen and forget. This should be the starting point for you to publish. So with that exhortation or advice, let me start the session. I have a PowerPoint presentation, which is a lengthy one, but I will limit myself to the relevant points which we require to do academic writing and publishing. Okay. So with your permission, I will switch off my video and go to the presentation. Yes. Can you see the slide, one of you? Okay.
No, sir.
No, not yet. What happened? Let me see. Okay. Wait. Once again.
Yes, sir, we can see now.
Yeah, now we can see. Okay, fine. All right, in between, if you are not able to see, tell me. Okay, right. Research paper writing and publishing. So there are three things or three steps here. First one, we have to do a research. Secondly, we have to write, based on that research, we have to write a paper. And the third, perhaps the most difficult, is get it published. So I repeat, there are three steps involved here. First is to do a research. After having done the research, the second step is to write a research paper. And the third step is to get this paper published in a research journal. So we are going to see the three steps, the important aspects of the three steps. Right. Before that, let us see what is a research paper. So we are concerned about writing and publishing a research paper. So briefly, what is a research paper? What comes to your mind as you hear these words? So immediately what comes to our mind is about 6 pages, 5 or 6 pages of writing with different subsections. That is what comes to our mind, isn't it? 6 pages, 7 pages with subsections, some tables, and so on. Remember, it is not an essay. We know what is an essay. It's a description of something. This is not an essay. Again, it is more than a collection of different pieces of information about a topic. There is a topic, naturally, there is a topic, a title, and this is more than a collection of different pieces of information about the topic. We are not collecting different pieces of information about the topic and presenting it one by one. That is not a research paper. It is more than a review of the literature in the field. Again, it is more than the review of the literature in the field. So in this field, there are a lot of writings already. There are a lot of writings. It's not a review of literature. That means collecting what other people have written and publishing. So this is not a research paper. So then what is it? Actually, the question, what is a research paper? It's a piece of academic writing. First of all, it's an academic writing in which the author does independent research. So that is the first step I mentioned. Before you have a research paper, you have a research. The author has to do a research, an independent research into a topic, and writes a description of the findings of that research. So these are the first 2 steps I mentioned. First, you have to do a research. Then, after finishing your research, you have to write it down as a paper, describe the findings of the research. There's a particular format in which you have to write it. So this is what is meant by a research paper. So there is a research and there is a description of the research. That is the research paper. In other words, it is the outcome of a mini research project. So there is a mini research project which you are doing, and as the outcome of the research project, you are describing what you have done in the research project, and that description is your research paper, and it has to be written in a prescribed form. It cannot be written as we like. An essay can be written as I like, but a research paper has to be written in a standardized format. So this is what I mentioned about the first 2 steps. After that comes the third step, where you have to get it published. That is totally different aspect. These 2 are related. Doing the research and writing the research paper are related. Getting it published is a totally different aspect. We will come to that a little later. So in other words, what I am trying to say, there are dual dimensions of a research paper. There are 2 aspects of a research paper. The first is a dynamic aspect. Dynamic means a moving aspect. The opposite is static. Dynamic is a moving aspect. That is the process leading to the research paper. So there is a process leading to the research paper. That process is the actual research that we are doing. That is an activity. It is dynamic. So it is called the dynamic aspect of a research paper, the process or the research project that we are doing. After doing the research, we have the second aspect of the research paper is static. It is not a moving aspect. It is a static aspect. We call it a static aspect. That is the structure of the research paper. How should we write the outcome? So we have done a project. Then how do you write that research paper? What is the structure of the research paper? That is static. It doesn't change. It is that is why it is called static. So the research paper has two dimensions. We call one the dynamic aspect of doing a research and the static aspect of writing the research outcome in a particular structure. Okay, so I'm not going to concentrate on too much on the dynamic aspect of doing a research. I presume that you know that, or you have to learn it, how to do the research aspect, because we have limited time. So we'll be concentrating on the second and the third aspect, mostly the third aspect. The dynamic aspect is the research paper is the outcome of a mini research project, and the execution of that mini research project is the dynamic aspect. We have to execute that research project. So you should know what is a research, what are the steps in the research, how do you carry out the steps in the research. All this is involved in the dynamic aspect. So those research scholars, teachers, research students, they would already know because this is research methodology. So the dynamic aspect covers the research methodology, which is a very vast subject. I have recently, 2 years back, I have written a book on this also, Research Methodology for Social Sciences. It's a simple book, a practical book. You can refer to that also. I'll give the reference towards the end of it. So this is a process involving several steps, sequential steps are there. So the research, the actual process of doing the research involves several steps. Let us look at the steps here. So I just mentioned the steps. The steps in the process are identification of a research problem. We start with the research problem. So we have to identify a theme or a research problem. Then we relate that problem to the relevant theory. What is the theory behind that problem? And also to earlier studies. It is called theoretical framework and literature survey. So we have to identify the research problem and relate it to a theory. And also we have to find out what are the previous studies, make a summary of the previous studies relating this problem and find out a research gap. So this is called theoretical framework and literature survey, literature review. Then having done that, we move to the actual execution of the research project, which is the formulation of a research design. How are we going to do the research? What are the steps involved here? So there we have to select a sample first of all. We have to select a sample and collect data from the sample. So sampling, how do you do the sampling? Then how do you collect the data? What is the method of collecting data? Is it observation or is it questionnaire or is it interview or is it secondary data? Then you have to analyze the data. So there you have to use appropriate statistical tools. There are two types of tools, descriptive statistics, inferential statistics. If you are doing secondary data analysis, now we have to use econometric tools also. They are becoming very popular. So analysis of data. Then comes writing the research report. After finishing your research project, then you have to write the report, then submit it for publication. So the first 5 steps are relating to the execution of the research project. Next, you have to write the research report in the prescribed format, then submit it for publication. Okay. The research process, I'm not going into the research process. So I would just mention what is research. There are many definitions of research. So when you're doing research, actually, what are we doing? That's the question. What are we doing? Because without understanding that, there is no point in trying to do research and write a paper and publish it. So you want to write a paper, publish it. Before that, we have to do research. Before that, we have to understand what is research. Very important. And there are so many definitions of research. What is it really? A police officer, supposing a police officer is investigating a case. Let us take a police officer investigating a case. Now in Kerala, we have so many cases happening, so many murders, so many different types of cases, and the police officers are involved in investigating the cases. Are they doing research? A very important question. Are these police officers doing research? See, a doctor, he is seeing so many patients. So many patients comes to him with symptoms, and he is examining them. Is he doing research? You see, a very important question. When we think of research, when we hear the word research, we always think of teachers, research scholars, doing research and writing papers. But this police officer, is he doing research? Is this doctor, is he doing research? A journalist, there are journalists, they are going after stories. They hear something, some story, they go after it, they publish a story about something which happened somewhere. Are they doing research? See, so a very important question. But let us put it in a different way. What are these people trying to do? What is the police officer trying to do? What is the doctor trying to do? What is the journalist trying to do? See, they are all trying to find the truth. They are trying to find the truth. What happened? A person is murdered. A person is killed. What happened? What is the truth? Who killed him? How did he kill him? What happened? What is the reason? A doctor is examining some symptoms. The symptoms are the expression of a disease. So he is trying to find out what is the real disease, what is the real problem, what is the disease, what is the truth. Similarly, journalist, he heard a story, he is going there, meeting people, interviewing people, trying to find out what is the truth. So all these people are trying to find the truth, and that is research. What is research? The answer is very, very simple, just one sentence. Just one sentence. There may be big definitions, so many definitions, but in my opinion, the answer is one simple sentence. Research is the search for the truth. And remember, not only we, all these people are doing research. The police officer is doing research, the doctor is doing research, the journalist is doing research, a judge is also doing research when he is examining a case. So research is the search for the truth, and we know that truth is often hidden. That is the problem. The truth is very often hidden. So we have to find the hidden truth. For that we require a search. And the search has to be conducted in a standardized way, in an effective way. Only then you will get the truth. So that effective standardized way of searching is called research methodology. That methodology of searching is called research methodology, and we are searching for the truth, and we may get the truth, sometimes we may not get the truth. But research is the search for the truth. So this is the simplest, or we can say a movement from the known to the unknown. You heard a story, somebody is murdered somewhere, you heard something about it. So some things are known, a movement from the known. So a person is found dead. Okay, a knife is there somewhere, or blood is there. That is what we know. We have to move from what we know to what is unknown. We don't know who did the crime, why, and so on. So those things have to be found out. Doctor knows the symptoms, but why the symptom is occurring. So a movement from the known to the unknown. So that is research. Another very, very simple definition of research is we know some things about a phenomenon. We do not know many things about that phenomenon. So we are moving from the known to the unknown. So the literature review gives you what is known about this phenomenon. And from this literature review, we move to what is unknown through our search, our own search. That is called movement from the known to the unknown. So a person who is trying to write a research paper has first find out a theme, research problem, do the research, find the truth about something, and then only he can write the research paper, then only he can get it published. Okay. So the bigger definitions I am leaving out. So we know the starting point, therefore, for research, the starting point is defining and redefining problems. So we have to identify some problem somewhere. Then move on to the searching for the truth. Identification and definition of the research problem. Okay, so I have some things about the problem and so on. I'm not going to that. We do not have much time for that. So I think we will move to the second step, which is the writing. These are some of the research processes. Formulation of the research design, sample selection, collection of data, primary and secondary data. Then you have the analysis of data, descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, multivariate analysis, time series analysis, econometric analysis. So different kinds of analysis may have to be used, and writing the research report. It may be a research article or a dissertation or a thesis. We are concentrating on a research article, how to write a research article and publish it. Okay, now we come to the second aspect, that is, having finished your research project, how do you write the research paper, the static or the structural aspect? A research paper should have specific subsections, normally numbered 1, 1.1, 2, 2.1, 2.3, 2.4, etc. So normally we have a research paper with the subsections, and ideally those subsections are numbered also, sequentially numbered and so on. And each subsection has specific objectives and contents. So each subsection has some contents which we are going to see. What are those contents? Research reporting may be in the form of a research paper, as I said, or it may be in the form of a thesis or a dissertation to be submitted for evaluation by the university. The format will be different for the thesis and dissertation. The format will be different for the research paper. We are going to see the format for the research paper. This is the thesis format. So, research paper. What is the research paper format? The subsections, the conventional style, the earliest style. It is still followed, but it is called the conventional style. It is, we have these, let me hide this 1 second. Okay. Right. So we have an introduction, we have a literature review, we have objectives, scope of the study, methodology. Then we have a theoretical framework, what is the theory behind this. Then we have the analysis of data, then summary of findings, conclusion, and references. So this is the conventional style. You can write your paper in this way. And normally the research journal will prescribe the format. Some of the journals prescribe the format in which the paper has to be written. Then you have to modify and write it according to their format. If the journal does not prescribe a format, we can choose our format. You can choose this conventional style. This is easy. more or less similar to a dissertation or a thesis, or the format of research paper according to the APA Publication Manual 2001. So the APA manual is followed for giving references. So they have prescribed a format. We can follow that format. Some of the journals are following this format. And here we have what is called a title. Then we have an abstract and keywords at the end of that. So the first part consists of the title, the abstract, and the keywords. And then we have an introduction section. The section number one is introduction. There we state the problem statement, background or review of literature. What is the background of the study? What is the gap in the study? Research gap, objectives of the study, hypothesis. If you are formulating any hypothesis, you can mention the hypothesis. So all this will be under the first section, introduction, say 1. So 1.1 will be your problem statement, 1.2 will be your literature review, 1.3 will be your objectives, 1.4 will be your hypothesis, and so on. I'll show you an example. Then we have a section called method, another section called method, subsection called method, which includes the sample, the materials, and the procedures. The sample, there is a sample selected for the study, the materials, the data, and the procedures, the statistical procedures applied. So all this will be described here under a subsection called method. Then we have another subsection called results. There we have the tables, graph, statistical presentations of the results of the statistical applications and so on. And we have discussion, hypothesis testing, the implications, the conclusions, the recommendations. So that is called discussions, and finally the references, the books you have referred. So this is the APA Publication Manual style, which is followed by many journals, and you can also choose this. So I have used both this. In my earlier publications, I was following the conventional style. After 2001, I have been following this style, APA Publication Manual style. The title. So it should be brief and descriptive of your research. The title should be brief, but it should be descriptive of your research. It should clearly indicate what the study is about. When you read the title, you should know what you are studying. And we should try to specify the cause and effect relationship in your key point. If you are studying the relationship between two things, advertisement and sales. So in the title itself, those two facts, variables should appear so that the person who is reading the title knows what the study is about. And as far as possible, avoid words like a study of, an investigation into, because we know that it is a study, it is an investigation, that is understood. So we don't have to repeat in the title. To make the title brief, we don't have to repeat a study of the relationship between advertisement and sales. You simply say advertisement and sales, or the relationship between advertisement and sales. We don't have to say an investigation or a study into and so on. Keep it brief, interesting, attractive, so that a person who sees the title should be attracted to read your paper, and he should know clearly what is mentioned there and so on. Then we come to the abstract. Is a very brief one paragraph, normally one paragraph. It describes the most important aspects of the study within the word limit provided by the journal. The journal will say the abstract should contain only 100 words or 50 words or 75 words. So we should limit the abstract within that word limit, and it should contain the most important aspects of the study, because we choose to read the article only after reading the abstract. A person will read the abstract and then he will decide whether I should read this article or not, whether it is related to my study. So this abstract should be attractive. It should mention the important aspects of the study, but need not give all the details of the study. You cannot give all the findings of the study here. You can only mention what the study is about. You will not be able to give the findings. You can mention what the study is about. That's all. See, the statement of the problem you can include there, the people you have studied, the sample you can mention, the variables you can mention, the dependent and independent variables you can mention, the instruments that you have used, the data collection instruments, questionnaire, interview schedule, the design, what you are using, major findings, one or two major findings, which is very important and which has implications for the society, may be mentioned. So this is how the abstract is written. Then we have the keywords there. So in your research paper, there will be a few important words. Those important words, you simply give the words under keywords. The important technical words used in the study. Just mention the words, that's all. You don't have to define it. Unlike in a thesis, we have a section where you define the variables, definition of the variables, operational definition of the variables in a thesis. Here, we don't do that. We just give list the technical terms only. Then we have the introduction, a paragraph or two, that's all. Again, brief, because the whole paper will be consisting of 5 or 6 or 7 pages only. So we have to limit all the sections, subsections. The introduction will be 2 paragraphs presenting the investigated problem, the importance of the study, etc., followed by a review of literature, presenting and evaluating what is already known about your research problem. So give a latest literature review or the most important literature review, and bring out the research gap. That is what is important. You cannot give exhaustively all the literature review just as you give in a thesis. You will give about 30, 40, 50 studies. Here you may be giving only 5 studies or 6 studies. That's all. But we want to highlight the research gap. No need to provide an exhaustive historical review. It's not possible, so you don't have to do that. The reader should understand why the problem was researched and why the study represents a contribution to the existing knowledge. So what is new about this? That is what I said, research gap. So what was not there earlier? What was not studied earlier? What is new? What is it that this researcher is contributing to the existing knowledge? A movement from the known to the unknown. Research is a movement from the known to the unknown. So what is it that you are finding out newly? So that has to be highlighted here. Then we come to the method. This is the most important section where you give all the your contribution. That is, it includes separate descriptions of this sample. You have to describe the sample, how you selected the sample, the materials, the data, how did you collect the data, then what are the procedures that you have used, the statistical procedures that you have used. Sample means a description of the population, the sample, and the method of sample selection. So what is the population? What is the sample? How did you select this sample? You have to describe that. Materials means a description of your instruments, including surveys, tests, questionnaires, interview forms, and other tools used to collect the data. Materials means data. And procedures means statistical tools. So description of the data, analysis, tools and procedures, and the hypothesis testing procedures. So very clear. Now this structure is very clear, very brief, very clear. So 3 things here: sample, materials, procedures. Then we come to the result. Describe the techniques used each analysis and the result of each analysis. Supposing you have done a t-test, the result of that t-test. If you have done a chi-square test, so give the test, the result of the test. So the tables, so the relevant tables will be there for each test that you have done. What is the result? It will be tabulated, carefully planned. Tables, graphs if required, which are self-explanatory. So we know this. This part, those who are doing research will know. For each test that we are doing, there is a result which is in the form of a table, and it can also be presented in the form of a graph if there is space. If you do not have space, then leave the graph, but the tables are compulsory. Then we come to the discussion part where we discuss and interpret your data for the reader. So we have to interpret your results. We have to explain what is your result findings. For that, the hypothesis will be helpful. Tell the reader the implications of your findings and relate your findings to those of the previous studies by explaining the relationships and supporting or disagreeing with what others have found. So your study may support the previous studies, or your findings may not support the previous studies. So whatever it is, you explain to the reader what is happening, what is your finding, does it agree with the previous studies, or does it not agree with the previous studies, and so on. So then your conclusions, and the conclusion should be based on your findings, naturally, your data and findings. Don't give some conclusion which have absolutely no relation with your findings or results. Make your recommendations, and the limitations of the study will also be mentioned. So these are the same things that we do in a conventional format or in a thesis, but we put it in a different format, different structure. That is the only difference. Okay. Suggest what problems should be researched next, further studies, areas for further studies. Normally we give a section where we suggest what we have studied, what further can be done by other people. It will be known as the areas for further research, is all coming under the subsection discussions. Then you give the references, the alphabetical listing of books and articles which we have used in our paper. There, wherever we have quoted something, there should be an indication in the reference section. The citation, complete details must be given in the references as per APA format. Okay, this is one example. Let me see if I can go to that example. One second. Yes. Okay. You can see that.
Yes, sir.
So see, the title of the journal, the journal is Review. On the right hand side, you have this page 23. My article came in page 23. Review of Integrative Business and Economics. That is the title of the journal. The volume 2 on the top, you can see there, volume 2:1. The title of my article is A Study of the Relation Between Market Index, Index Futures, and Index ETF, a case study of India. It's an international journal. So it's a study about India, so that's why I have to mention a case study of India. Now forget about the title. The title is complex. It is about the derivatives. It's a study dealing with the derivatives. Study of, see the title, it's a relation between market index and so in fact I had given to them without a study of. I had given the title as relation between market index, index futures, and index ETFs, a case study. But the reviewer in this particular case suggested that you please include a study of. I said, okay, it's up to them. So because we send the article, they will 2 or 3 people will review and give the comments, and based on the comments, we make some corrections and send it again. Again, sometimes one more review may be done, then finalize it, and then only it is published. So here the review, the study was added by the reviewer, one of the reviewers. I said, okay, fine, no problem. So this was written when I was director of the TKM Institute of Management. I was the director of TKM Institute of Management for 4 years. See here, this is in the APA format. We have the abstract here. See, the abstract. I'm just showing the structure only. We are not concerned about the topic. The abstract and keywords here. See, abstract. After that, the keyword. Just the list of the keywords. Basis. Basis. Basis is not that English word basis. On the basis of. There is an English word basis. This basis means the futures price minus the spot price. So this is a technical term. The word basis here is a technical term, not the English word basis. So here basis means a commodity may have a futures price and a spot price. So the futures price minus spot price is called basis. So it's a technical term. ETF premium is a technical term. Daily return is again calculated. It's a technical term. Volatility, commonly used in this article, this word volatility is used several times. The daily returns are calculated here. Premium is also taken. Basis is also calculated. So these are the keywords used in this article. Therefore, I have given the keywords there. 1.1, see, 1.1, subsection 1.1, introduction. See, 1.1 introduction. So first part is introduction. Then you have see 1.2 literature review. That is coming under the introduction part. So 1.2 literature review. Only about 5 or 6 studies. Okay. See 2. Second part is the conceptual framework, the theoretical framework. What are the variables of the study? 2.1, subsection 2.1 is the variables of the study. So we are describing the variables of the study. See, conceptual framework. 2.1 is the variables of the study. 2 is the objectives of the study. See, 2 objectives of the study. What are the objectives? 2.3 hypothesis of the study. See, hypothesis. There are, I think, 3 or 4 hypotheses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hypotheses are there. So there are 6 hypotheses in the study. Then the third section, method, we mentioned earlier, method. So there, sample, 3.1, sample. The first part is the sample. So how do you collect the sample for the study? So these are the sample used: the market index, index futures contracts, index ETF, then market materials. Second part is, first is sample, under method. First one is sample, second one is materials, the data. Materials data is the data. The next one is procedures. 3.3 procedures. What are the statistical tools used here? Daily returns are calculated. So the calculations are mentioned here. Procedures, then the results here. So what procedure we have used, the formula is described here. The results are coming under the next section, 4 section, results. See, the tables will be coming here. 4.1. See, the table here. See, 4.1 table. Again, another table. They are the results of that. The statistical analysis, the results are given here. Table 3, the results are given. This again, table 4, data are given, mean, standard deviation, coefficient of variation, etc. Then comparison between, this all the results. This will be a big section because so many tables. I have avoided graphs, there is no space, too many tables are coming. So tables are given, table 6 is given, table 7 is there, table 8 is there, a big study. Again, see, table 10, discussion. Next section is the discussion, sir. There we are explaining the hypothesis testing, whether the hypothesis is accepted or rejected, why, what is the result, what is the implication. So it comes under discussion. Then so everything is the findings, everything, conclusion, everything comes under a brief section called discussion. The largest section is the results section, where we give all the tables. Then finally we have the references given under the APS style. References. Okay. So this is one of the latest style is this one, the APS style. Even now you can follow the conventional style. If the journal approves it, there is no problem. Okay. If the journal is approving your journal is approving the conventional style, you can go for the conventional style. If the journal is not approving them, then you have to, they may, so there are 3 possibilities. Number 1, the conventional style, which everybody knows. Number 2, the APS style, which I have just now shown. Number 3, the style or structure prescribed by that particular journal. The journal, especially important journals, international journals, with a big index factor, etc. They may prescribe their own style. They will say, okay, it has to be written in this way. Then you have to follow that. So either you can follow conventional style, or the APS style, or the journal style, which they are suggesting. So look at it. If the journal is suggesting a style, you follow it. Otherwise, you choose between the other two. Okay, so this is the structure, the static part. We continue. The reference format is the APA format. APA format is used. The 7th edition has come, 2019. 7th edition, there's not much difference between the 6th and the 7th edition. So you can follow the APA or MLA style. Either you follow the MLA style or the APA style format. Now we come to the last step in the publication. So first is doing the research. Second is writing the paper based on your research. So there I have mentioned the 3 formats you have to follow. And it should be grammatical. Very often, sometimes what happens, we make grammatical mistakes. So always it is better to show it to a person who knows English well, so that grammatical errors are eliminated, because that is awkward, in a research paper if you find grammatical errors. So avoid grammatical errors. Simple language, don't go for complicated words. Simple language without grammatical errors in the prescribed structure. So simple language without grammatical errors in the prescribed structure, the chosen structure. The 3 structures, you can choose anyone. Now we move on to, okay, our paper is ready. Now, how do you get it published? So that is what we are going to see. Before that, some innovative trends in the research publication field. In the publication field, there have been some innovations. Let us look at those innovations. The publication scenario is characterized by new modes and trends. There are new modes and new trends in the publication. We should be aware of that before publishing our research paper. Very important to be aware of the new trends. Let us review the new trends. 1. The digital revolution has transformed the research landscape altogether. So just as in all fields, the digital revolution has transformed all the fields. Similarly, in the research landscape or research field also there has been a lot of changes because of the digital revolution. So I'm going to list out the changes in the research landscape because of the digital revolution. New trends are emerging, and among these new trends there are both healthy practices and dubious practices. So healthy practices we have to follow, understand, follow it. Dubious practices we have to understand and avoid. Sometimes research degenerates into Google search. Now that, I don't have to tell you, you know that. Very easy to search everything in the Google. So, but research should not degenerate into Google search. So it should be independent. It has to be done in the prescribed format, not through Google search. The process is influenced by digitization. The processes influenced are: 1 is literature review, 2nd is the data collection, 3rd is the data analysis, and 4th is the publication itself. So these 4 processes in the research, these are research processes. These 4 processes have been influenced by the digital revolution, digitization. For example, literature review. When I was doing research, I had to go to the libraries physically, sit down there, write down in my notebook. In those days, photocopying was also not there. So I have to write down in our notebook. We have to go to faraway places, Pune, Delhi, and so on, and go to the library, get their permission, write down from journals, take the journals, write down a summary in our notebook or paper. Earlier days, literature review. But now literature review can be done from your house. By using your laptop, you can do the literature review. You can refer to any book anywhere in the world, from any library in the world. You don't have to go to any place. You can do your literature review online. so that the literature review, the process of literature review has been completely transformed, made easy. It is made easy. It is good. You don't have to waste too much time and money. So that is a good aspect of literature review. Data collection. So earlier we have to go to people and collect the data. Now also it has to be done, but there is an alternative. In some cases you can collect it through Google Forms, through Google Forms. Online data collection is also possible. So there again, things have been, new trends are available. But then you have to be careful who is filling up that data, when you are collecting the data directly, we go to the correct persons and collect the data. But when you are doing it online, you may send it to the correct person, you send it to the intended person, but he may not be the one who is filling up the data. It may be filled up by somebody else. So how far is it the true data? Research is the search for the truth. I repeat, research is the search for the truth. So when we want to collect the data from a particular person and it is sent online, and somebody else he is repeating it to somebody else and he is giving it to one of his, supposing you are sending it to a manager. You want to collect the data from a bank manager, you are sending this on by online modes to the manager. He is very busy. So he will ask one of his clerks, okay, you fill up this and send it. Very, very often happens, the truth. So managers are very busy. So we are not there, we are not seeing what is happening. So they are very busy. So we want the details from the manager, only then we will get the truth. He will call one of his clerks and say, okay, you send this, you fill it up somehow and send it. Because he is not bothered, he is busy. So the clerk, he doesn't know anything about what the manager is doing. How does the clerk know what the manager is doing? So we want what the manager is doing, but the clerk is filling up. So he will fill up, he will tick here and there because all multiple choice questions. So he will fill up whatever he feels like filling up and we will get the data. So we do all kinds of analysis. So inferential statistics, t-test, chi-square, econometrics, everything is done on this data, which is not the true data. So you remember, it is not the true data. We are doing all analysis, you will get all the results, but it is not the truth. Research is the search for the truth. So there is a problem here. So we have to be careful. Now, data analysis. Now, again, in my days, we had to do the data analysis with the calculators. You won't believe all those things. Now, so now it is, softwares are available. Many softwares are available. It's so easy, it's so complicated, so perfect. So in those days, it was not perfect. Now it is perfect. Data analysis is perfect because softwares are available. So that is a good aspect of data analysis. But the dubious aspect, the wrong aspect of data analysis is, let me tell you that also, we will give the data to an analyst who will charge you. So it's a business for him. So he will do all the analysis possible, whether it is needed or not. He will do it because he has to get money. So that is the problem there. So the analysis should be appropriate to the data and our objectives. Not that we want to do the analysis which is available in the software. So very often now what we see is that in every thesis, when we see all kinds of analysis which is not required. But because it is there in the software and because it is a business, we will do all kinds of analysis, and the poor research scholar is unable to justify the use of the different tools used. So that is the negative side of the software analysis. But we have to use it in a positive way. We should know which analysis to be used and use only those analysis. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that there are both positive and negative aspects to the digitization process. Publication, we are going to see more about the negative and positive aspects of publication. Transformations in the publication scenario. The first and very important, very good transformation is the emergence of open access literature. That is literature that is digital, online, free of charge, free of most copyright and licensing restrictions. So nowadays, see, the physical journals have to be purchased. The library has to purchase it. The open access journals, they are called open access journals, OA. So open access journals, they are available online in different websites. They are free. You don't have to pay. In some cases you have to pay, but most of them are free. So we have both free and paid. Open access means the free ones. So in the online space, in the digital space, there are a lot of journals. Some of them are paid, some of them are open access. There are a lot of websites where you can get all these open access journals. So that is a good thing. So for doing our literature review, we can access all these journals and read free, all this. So very good. And there is a directory of open access journals. You can search the journals and articles. Say, for example, I have given here two. So the directory of open access journals. So what are the different types of open access journals? So you can go to this website. So e-journal, they are called e-journals, and you can find the journals. You can find articles there, read, download them, read them. Most of them are free. Some of them are paid, of course. For some articles in some journals you may have to pay, but don't pay and waste your money. Go to some other article, read the related articles may be there. Only if it is very, very important to your study, pay it, and because the payment is very costly. So this is one important and positive aspect of in the publication scenario, the open access journals. And also there is open access publishing. We can publish in these open access journals. So these journals, open access journals, they are not paid. So if you want to publish there, they have no subscription fee. It is free. So there's a publication fee. The author has to pay. If I want to publish in an open access journal, I have to pay a publication fee for publishing it. Normally, in a physical journal, the journal is sold to libraries, so they get income for there. So the author does not have to pay. Supposing I am publishing an article in Finance India, I have published 4 or 5 articles in Finance India. It's a very important journal. So this is a physical journal, Finance India. So they are selling it to libraries and other people. So they get income from there. So the author, I don't have to pay any money for publishing my article in the Finance India, because it is a paid journal. Author does not have to pay. It is free. Economic and Political Weekly, we don't have to pay. The authors don't have to pay because it is a paid journal. But open access journals are free, therefore they are not getting any income. So to meet their expenses, the publisher, the author has to pay a publication fee for publishing our article there. It will not be very high, but it depends. If it is too high, don't pay, publish in that particular journal. So that is the difference here. Open access publishing, no subscription fee. The journal has no subscription fee, but there's a publication fee collected from the authors who want to publish in that journal. Now, here some dubious practices are also there in the publication scenario. Publishing without peer reviewing. When we are publishing an article, we expect that this article will be peer reviewed by 2 or 3 people, and their comments will be given, and then we correct it so that our journal becomes of a better standard. So the article becomes better and has a higher standard. But some of these journals nowadays, they don't do any peer reviewing because we don't get the reviewers' comments shared with the authors. So if there are peer reviewing is happening, then we will get, the author will get, supposing I send it for publication and there's a peer reviewing, then I will get a report from the peer reviewer containing their comments. What I should do with this article, how I should correct it, what additions should I make. So the comments will be shared. But very often we don't get any. When you are trying to publishing in this open access journals, we will not get any peer reviewer comments because they are not doing any peer reviewing. They are just publishing what we are giving. So that is not a good practice, Another dubious practice is collecting disproportionate publication fee. So they make it a business and they will collect from us. Supposing we are giving an article, so with that article we have to pay a publication fee. That publication fee may be very high because they want to make it a business. So they are not looking at the quality of the article. They are not peer reviewing it. All that they want is some money. So they will fix a very high publication fee. So if you pay that publication fee, whatever junk you are submitting, they are ready to publish it. They are not doing any peer reviewing. So this is a dubious practice. So we should not. So we have to be very careful about this. There are these kinds of practices. So when the publication fee is very high, don't pay it. Don't pay. Search for another journal. Don't pay high publication fees. If you are not getting peer review comments from a particular journal, don't publish it there next time. So that means they are not doing any peer reviewing. We want peer reviewing because our article will not be perfect. We want to get the opinion of other people, definitely. So the question is how to find good open access e-journals who are not doing any dubious practice. So how do we find out good open access journals where we can publish e-journals who are doing good practices, who are having peer reviewing, who are having low publication fee and so on. There are directories. So these directories index and list good academic journals, So there are some directories which are indexing and listing good academic journals. For example, Cable's directory of publishing opportunities. So this directory will publish research database of academic journals. So they will give the background of different academic journals. So we can look at that and find out which are the good journals because they will give the details about the academic journals. Another one is journal citation reports. Journal citation reports. The citation from a particular journal, what is the citation from a particular journal? So there's a report regarding the citations from all the different journals. The more the citation, the better the journal. Well appreciated, the journal. So that will help us. Then again, using the impact factor and immediacy index of journals. So we can use an impact factor of the journal as well as the immediacy index of the journal to find out. If the impact factor is high, that means the journal is good. So using these three, either the Cable's directory, journal citation reports, or the impact factor and immediacy factor of the journals, we can find out, decide which is a good open access e-journal or which is a good journal, any journal, which is a good journal. So these are different methods. So in the publication scenario, we have to be careful. There's no use in publishing somewhere, especially in a journal which nobody looks at, nobody reads. That is not good. That's not good enough. So as you publish, because if you go to Google Scholar, there is something called, Google search. Instead of searching Google search, you can go to Google Scholar. So Google Scholar automatically creates the index for each author. See, I have many books and many articles. So if you go to the Google Scholar and type my name there, you will get my index. There are 2-3 indexes about the different books, who is using them, what is the citation from the different books, different articles. So the Google automatically creates that, So it is given there. So that is important. So we should publish in journals which are important, not in any useless journal. So we will not come in that index. Our name will not come in that index. So first, publishing is important. Equally important is publishing in good journals, not this useless junk journals. So we have to choose the journals carefully. And also now for your promotion, supposing you are seeking your promotion in the career, when you are going for promotion and so on, there again you have, I will show you later on, you have to choose the journals based on the UGC approved or listed journals and so on. We'll see that also. This I am speaking about the whole world. I'm not speaking about India alone. This deals with the whole world. The journal may be from anywhere in the world. So Cable's directory lists the journals across the globe. Later on, we'll come to the Indian context. Okay. Journal citation report. See, citations indicate how frequently the current researchers are using the journal. So citation, you know what is meant by citation. So when somebody refers to a particular article in a journal, it's called a citation. So the more people are referring to a particular journal articles, that means that journal is referred by many people. So higher the citation, better the journal. That means many people are using that. So the citation is a very good indication of a journal. If more and more people are citing the articles in a particular journal, it is a good journal because people respect that journal. So this is important to find out the citations. So this JCR gives the citation data of articles in journals. So this is a good report, and this is useful for comparing and evaluating different journals. It includes the most frequently cited journals in a field, in a particular field, commerce or management, which is the most frequently cited journal, which everybody is referring to. Now, which is the highest impact factor journals in that field? In that particular field, which journal has the highest impact factor? So all the journals are given with their impact factor. What is the leading journals in the field? So all this we can find out from this journal citation report. It gives the impact factor and immediacy index of the journals. I will show you what is meant by impact factor and immediacy index. This is one example of a journal citation report. There are different reports, but this is a very commonly used report. Is the Clarivate Analytics Journal Citation reports are very popular. Every year they are publishing it. Clarivate Analytics Journal Citation reports. So that you can refer to that and find out which are the good journals and try to publish in those journals in the global context. Now we will come to the Indian context. Impact factor, let me see the time. It's already 11:30. I think I will have to skip the impact factor and immediacy index. Calculation of impact factor is there, but I don't think we have time for that. Immediacy index. You know these two indexes, you have heard about these two indexes. So in the journal itself, sometimes they give the impact factor. Higher the impact factor, better the journal. So calculations, of course. Now we come to the Indian context. Now I'm moving to the Indian context. So where to publish? We are trying to find out where to publish. So we have an article ready. We have done a research. We have written an article which is ready. Good. Now where to publish? That is the question. There is the Scopus. You might have heard this word, Scopus. It's a database. It's a database. It is Elsevier's abstract and citation database, launched in 2004. So in 2004, they started this. It contains the abstracts and citation database of journals all over the world. So it is a database which contains the abstracts, a brief summary, and the citation, how many people are citing, how many times only they are cited, of the different journals in the world. So it's a database. But it is very popular, and people are referring to the Scopus to find out whether a particular journal is listed in Scopus. Whether a particular journal is listed in Scopus, what is the position? Is it good or bad? Is it high or low? All this we can get from Scopus. See, Scopus covers nearly 36,377 titles from approximately 36,377 journals from approximately 11,678 publishers, of which 34,346, almost 90%, are peer-reviewed journals in top-level fields. So they cover all the fields, peer-reviewed journals. The fields are life sciences, social sciences, physical sciences, and health sciences. So in different fields, which are the peer-reviewed journals. So they are indexing, they are giving details about 36,377 journals from 11,678 publishers. So they give full details about these journals and publishers. Okay. Now we come to this. Scopus is global. It is covering the whole world. Now we come to the care list of quality journals in the Indian context. Supposing we from India, we are working in an institution, or we want to get a job in a college, or university, their publication, they have marks, research publications have marks. So where should we publish for that situation? For that, we have a care list of quality journals. So in India, if you want to get a job in a college or a university or even industry, we have to have our publication in this care list. What is this care list? Let us look at the care list. It's a UGC established CARE. CARE means Consortium for Academic and Research Ethics. Consortium for Academic and Research Ethics for creation and maintenance of list of quality journals. So UGC has established this CARE. It's a committee for creation and maintenance of a list of quality journals. So this CARE committee established by UGC, they are maintaining a list of quality journals. And in India, if you want to get a job in the Indian context, we have to have our publication in this list. Earlier we had what is called UGC approved list of journals. Earlier we had what is called UGC approved list of journals. That has been replaced with this UGC CARE list from June 2019, 2-3 years back. From 2019 June, this UGC approved list is cancelled. Instead of that, we have the UGC CARE list. So that is the relevant list. Now let us look at that list. The group of journals under CARE list. 4 groups of journals are included under CARE list. There are 4 groups of journals. Group A. Group A, research journals from all disciplines indexed in Scopus. See, I mentioned about Scopus earlier. So all the journals indexed in Scopus. So if a journal is indexed in Scopus, it will automatically come under Group A. Or Web of Sciences. Similar to Scopus, there is another database which is called Web of Sciences. For different, in bracket I have given all the different subjects covered by Web of Sciences. So Group A includes all the research journals indexed in Scopus or Web of Science. So all quality journals, internationally qualified journals, because these 2 websites are international websites. Scopus and Web of Science are international websites. So UGC simply says, okay, all the journals listed under these 2 international databases are approved under Group A. Then Group B is the journals from the previous UGC approved list. Previously, there was a UGC approved list before 2019. So whatever journals were there in that list is put under Group B, the 2nd grade. So that is a lower grade, 2nd grade, but that is also okay. It is coming under the CARE list. Group C is the journals from all disciplines recommended by the UGC CARE Council members, which are qualified. So the UGC CARE is a committee, so there is a council. So this committee members, if they recommend a particular journal, okay, it will be included under Group C only. So Group A is international, Group B is the earlier approved list. Group C is some particular journals. If the UGC CARE members recommend it, it will be approved. There's only a few numbers are there. That will come under Group C. And Group D, journals from all disciplines and languages submitted by UGC CARE universities which are qualified as per analysis protocol. So the UGC CARE university, supposing most of the universities in India come under the UGC CARE universities. So that is UGC approved universities, in other words, UGC approved. So supposing a university recommends, so Group C, if the council members recommend a journal, it will be included under Group C. Group D, if the universities recommend a journal, particular university, Mahatma Gandhi University, Kerala University recommends a journal, and if they find that it is okay, recommendation is good, they will include it under Group D. So Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D. Group A is the best. So these are the 4 groups under UGC CARE list. Journals in each group. So under Group A, Web of Sciences, there are 14,514 journals. Scopus, there are 39,111. So I'm just giving you some numbers here. And UGC Care List B, Group B, that is from the earlier list, UGC approved journals. Earlier list, there are only 501. Group C, there are only 68, that is journals recommended by the council members, 68. And Group D, there are 293, that is journals recommended by the different universities, there are 293. Okay. Subject-wise classification of care list, UGC care list is classified into different subjects. Sciences are there, social sciences, ours comes under social sciences, arts and humanities, multidisciplinary, Indian languages, and journals can also browse alphabetically. So either you can search for the journals under the subject or by alphabetical name. One example, Scopus. So Indian journals indexed in the Scopus. Scopus is international. So Indian journals indexed in the Scopus database. One example is Economic and Political Weekly. Economic and Political Weekly, it's a bi-weekly article. Journal is very important. I have published 3-4 times there. Finance India, again, I have published 4 or 5 articles recently. Indian Institute of Finance, a very important journal. It is Scopus, it is indexed in Scopus. Then SCMS in Cochin, we have a institute, SCMS. They have a Journal of Indian Management, and that is also there in Scopus. It is indexed in Scopus. So, okay. So there's a demand for SCMS Journal of Indian Management. There will be a lot of demand because it is already indexed in the Scopus. Finance India, it is not easy to publish. Economic and Political Weekly, again, it's not easy to publish. They have a very strict review process, so because they are rated very high. But the other journals, so initially you can go for simple journals which are indexed coming under UGC care list. So in summary, in short, what we have to look for is in the Indian context, go for UGC care list. Go to the website of UGC, there you can find the care list there. So once you have finished, let me just finish this and before I give the comment, what you have to do is go to the UGC website, take the care list. Don't go for the group A. There are group A, B, C, D. Group A will be highly internationally qualified, so it may not be possible in the initial stage. So go for journals in group B, C, and D. Look for journals because they are all approved journals. So send your article to select one of them, send your article to them and see what happens. If they reject it, then send it to the next one. If they also reject it, send it to the next one, etc. So somebody will definitely approve and you will be able to publish. So that is how we should. Even you can send it to even group A. Try to send it to one of the group A journals, and if they accept it, very good, excellent. So we can start with group A, then go to group B. So you'll be able to publish it because there are so many. See the number of journals. There are so many journals. Or you can simultaneously send it to 2, 3, 4 different journals. So if one of them rejects, 2 or 3 of them rejects it. If somebody accepts it, then tell the others that already it is accepted by the journal, so that they can stop processing it. So that is one way. Send it to 3 or 4 or 5 different journals. Whenever one accepts it, tell the others that it has already been accepted. So okay. If all the 5 rejected, you send it to next 5. So different methods can be used. So getting it published, for that you should be very careful about that list. You should be conscious of the list, keep it ready with you. So concluding remarks, research paper is accepted for publication based on its quality. Remember that. The quality is important. And quality can be assured only if the research paper on which if the topic is important and we are following standardized procedures. So the research paper has to be written in the prescribed format. We said that. So the research should be done on a very important topic. It should be written in the prescribed format. Then the journal has to be selected. The selection of the research problem execution of the research project are important parameters determining the quality of the research paper. These are some of the data sources if you want to do data with secondary data. Supposing you can do research with secondary data or primary data. If you are doing research with secondary data, these are the data sources where you can get a lot of data. RBI research, first one is the RBI data source. The link in that website, when you go to the website rbiorg.in, there is a link database. Go to the link and then you can get the data. When you go to SEBI website, the link is statistics. So what I have given in bracket is the link. Finance Ministry, third is the Finance Ministry. The link is data and statistics, and so on. Similarly, for international IMF, World Bank, Asian Development Bank. So there also you get a lot of data. And okay, so I think I have kept the time. Okay, not too half an hour. Okay, let me wind up the. Okay. Yes. So questions, it's open for questions. Was it audible? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, anybody?
Now it's the time for questions. If any participants have questions, they can unmute your mic and ask, or leave it in the chat box.
Ma'am,
Yes. Yes. We are not audible. I think one person was asking some question, but we are not audible now.
Okay. Let me tell you something. I will send the presentation to the organizers, so you can share it to the participants, so that because they may not have had time to write down all those things. So I will forward the presentation to the organizers, so that they can the participants can get the presentation, so that there you get the website address and so on. So it will be useful to you, those who are want to do some research. It will be useful. So that can be done. Okay. Questions can be asked by others.
Anyone with questions?
Hello, sir.
Yes. Go
Yes,
ahead.
I would like to ask a question. So, if we publish a journal on an open source format, like on an open source platform, so will our journal be peer reviewed by others?
See, first what we have to do is see if that open access journal is in the care list. So because we are publishing is okay, but publishing we have a purpose, in the sense that publishing has to be considered when we are applying for a job or for a college or a university or industry. So they will look at our publication. So marks will be awarded for that, and the marks awarding depends upon whether it is published in the UGC care list. So first you have to identify whether this journal is included under the care list. So we have to try to publish in the care list journals. Only then we will get benefit out of that. Supposing careless journals, they are following review. They will have a review process will be followed. But supposing you are not too much interested in getting a job into the university or college sector, you just want to have a publication, then you can go for the open access journals. There, most of them are doing the review process, but some of them may not be doing it. But that we can know only after submitting the paper. If they have a review process, they will send us the reviewers' comments. Then we know that it has been reviewed. If they are not sending any reviewers' comment, then it is doubtful whether they are really doing any review process. So it depends upon your purpose. You are interested in getting a job in a university college, go for careless publication. Otherwise, you can publish in open access journals. No problem.
So, sir, I had seen some videos explaining that the publication fees of some foreign publishers as well as some publishers who do in journals. Uh, they uh, they have excessive borne by the authors. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Not audible.
Can you repeat it again?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Now it is audible. Now it is audible.
So, sir, a few weeks prior, I had seen a video about an author. He was trying to explain that if he tried to publish in a very famous journal or someplace else, the author has to pay the publisher a huge amount of money to get his work published. So, is this a common thing in all journals?
I will tell you. See, I told you my experience. See, I have Finance India is a journal rated number 2 in the world in the finance field. Finance India, published from India, is rated number 2 in the world in the finance field. I have published there. They are not charging any amount, completely free. They don't charge any amount. So good journals actually don't charge any amount. In fact, I have published more than 50, 60 papers, but I don't remember paying any fee so far. I have not paid any fee for publishing in those 60. That's my experience. So, but I know that there are journals which are charging. That's why I said in the presentation, I mentioned that there are journals which are charging. That's a new business. It's a new business. They are charging high fees. So that is there. That is there. But good journals don't do that. That is my experience. So we have to be careful. Supposing they are asking for a huge amount, don't publish there. Why do you want to publish? Why to spend so much money? So try somewhere else. There are other. So some fee may have to be paid because that is the norm now. The publication fee is becoming a norm nowadays. We have to pay it, but don't pay very high fees. Don't go for other journals. So what the author explained may be true. There are journals because some of my students have shared their experience with me. They have even shown me letters that they are asking for huge amounts, and normally in dollars. So many dollars, $40 is a big amount. So when you convert into Indian rupees, it becomes a big amount. So that practice is there. We have to be careful. That's why I said there are many dubious practices. That publication scenario is now becoming a little tricky business. But still there are positive side also. Opportunities are also there. But we have to be careful. We have to be careful.
So after a publication, if a publication doesn't have too many citations in certain websites, so that means our work has not been seen by many people, or is it
Yes.
that many people don't really care what we have written?
Yeah. When a journal is not cited by others, that means they are not reading this journal. They are not very popular. They are not popular. That's why citations are not coming. Because see, again, I will tell you, there are some journals, online journals, which they will remove after some time. They will remove that online copy. from the internet. So I would advise, see, there are journals which are both offline and online versions. Many journals have both. Some journals have only offline versions. Finance India has only offline, only paper, no online. So some journals have only paper publications. Some have both paper publication as well as online publication. The third variety, they have only online. I would not recommend this only online journals, because after some time they will remove it from their website. So our journal, nobody will be able to refer. So that is why citations are not coming. We have just now mentioned that citations are not coming. Why the citations are not coming? Because after they will get money from us, publish it, retain it in their website for 1 or 2 years, then the whole thing will be removed. So nobody is able to cite that, nobody is able to read it and cite it. That is why citations are not coming. So purely online journals I would not recommend. Go for journals which are having paper and online, or only paper. Both are good. So if there is a paper version plus an online version, anyway the paper version will be there. So that will always be there. So it is safe. So that again another important point which you have to keep in mind. Most of these purely online journals are, there is a risk of cheating by them.
So since so if I want to ask an example. So
Yeah.
suppose the journal presented by a person is found to be plagiarized by another person. He finds that some of the materials or some of the examples in the journal and these were taken from various places. So what will happen to him? So will he be blacklisted or something else like that?
The plagiarism issue is slightly different in the sense that plagiarism is a responsibility, in the sense that the person who is writing the journal has to have it checked. Plagiarism checking can be done by softwares now. So we have to, they will also do it, the publisher will also do it, but it is basically our responsibility. So we have to do a checking by one of the free softwares are now available for plagiarism checking. We have to ensure that minimum 20% should be, or less than 20% should be the plagiarism consent or the repetition consent. Otherwise, normally heavy blacklisting such measures do not happen. Plagiarism, of course, it will be not encouraged, but only for PhD thesis and so on, there will be a problem. Otherwise, not much of a problem. So you don't have to worry about that. We have to keep it limited. We take the responsibility and keep it limited. That's enough. But when it is a thesis or a dissertation, naturally university has a limit. They will say it should be limited to 20, 25. Then that the university will prescribe, and they will not allow you to submit the thesis if it exceeds the prescribed limit. But articles, that limit is not so strictly followed so far. It may come in the future, but now it is not an issue. Don't worry. You are doing research or?
No, sir. I'm not doing research. I'm just a first year student of BCom.
Okay.
I one of my friends here. He sends me videos about regarding such things, and he
Okay.
explains to me about this open source.
Very good.
My friend here, he is interested in Linux software, so he knows much about the community, and he explains to me about these things and all
Okay.
about scientific
Oh,
and stuff.
very
So
good.
I had a little idea about it. So I just kind of asked.
Very good, very good, very good. So in your third year, you'll have to do a mini project, BCom. So,
Thank you, Joel, for your queries. Any other questions?
No.
Anyone else? I think the questions are over.
Okay. You can send the PowerPoint to the students so they can.
Yes, sir. Yes, I will send. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your deep knowledge on academic writing in a very simple and understandable way, especially to our students who is currently, the third year and PG students, they are currently doing projects
Right.
during their last semesters. So I'm sure they are all benefited by your words of wisdom. We are grateful for your time and effort you took for us, sharing your thoughts. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank
I now,
you.
so we have one more session, a vote of thanks session is there.
Okay.
So I now invite Sri Abhishek Thomas, Assistant Professor and the coordinator of this national conference, to propose vote of thanks. Over to you.
Respected and most distinguished resource person, Dr. S.K. Vinsar, College Principal, Professor Lalike Zariye, Vice Principal and Head of the Department of Commerce, Dr. Stephen Matthew, sir, dear teachers, and my dear students. I feel honored to propose this vote of thanks on behalf of St. Stephen's College, Group. First of all, I would like to thank our resource person, Dr. S.K. Vinsar, for sharing his valuable ideas on social science research with us. It was a really informative conference in true sense. I'm pretty sure the precious knowledge you gave us will definitely help us in the future research. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Further, I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude to our principal, Professor Lalike Sriye, who is always supporting and guiding us. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to thank our vibrant Vice Principal and Head of the Department of Commerce, Dr. Stephen Matthew, sir, to take great efforts to prepare and organize this conference. Thank you, sir. Next, I extend my gratitude to the technical team, my colleagues, and other organizing committee members of Issue 21-22 for their service and support. Finally, I would like to express my gratitude to all research scholars, teachers, and students for attending this conference. Once again, thanks to all the people joined here. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek, sir. I thank once again our distinguished guest and all the students and participants. We are concluding the morning session now. For the note of the students, we will be having paper presentations in the afternoon. So we will begin the afternoon session at 1:15 p.m. So I kindly request all the students to join the afternoon session on time. The link is shared in your groups, WhatsApp groups. So please join on time.